Good evening, Vienna. My name's David, and I am the CEO of Chooter. Chooter is a web app-based platform which is designed to help applicants prepare for admission tests. Now, admission tests are used by universities, schools, even quite a lot of jobs, and their main aim is to discriminate between students. As a result, admission tests are a nightmare. They're very hard, they're very, very fast-paced, and a lot of the time, students will see questions that they have never seen anywhere else before. I'm going to show you some of these questions now. Okay, so just be prepared, don't get freaked out. But imagine you're a student sitting down and seeing one of these. Huge numbers of graphs, of tables, of photos. These are things that students very rarely see in your average exam, and you only have about 30 seconds per question to read and understand it before you then have to solve it. I'll take it away now, don't worry. But this isn't the only problem that a student faces. Tutoring for these admission tests is extremely expensive. A lot of students can't even afford this. When you can find a tutor, you can't guarantee their quality. A lot of tutors are students, and the quality tends to be low. Finally, the actual product that is produced by these tutors is not personalized. The tutors have a lot of students, and they're not available whenever the student actually needs them. Our solution to this is pretty simple. We're just taking a smarter approach to admissions testing. Students shouldn't have to choose between low prices, availability, and actually high quality content when they can have them all in one place. So how are we doing this? This is how Chooter actually helps students. 2 steps to this process. The first is through an initial assessment. By using games, we can identify the weakest points of a student's profile and show them hinges, which are magical ways by which they can very rapidly improve their performance overall. After this, we are actually able to engage students on a much higher level and keep them involved. The second process is the AI-driven platform to actually provide content to the students. By consistently revising and improving our product based on students' progress, we're able to offer them the most efficient way to improve. We're motivated by the fact that a lot of tutors are not of a high quality. We don't think that it makes sense to allow students to waste their time, and we're constantly thinking about where they're going. When it comes to students' futures, they shouldn't be left guessing. So let's meet the team. There are 4 key contributions which this team provides. 5 years of tutoring experience, 3 years of AI expertise, some data science magic, and finally, a very talented and experienced developer and designer. All of these allow us to build an efficient and engaging platform for students. We're starting small, targeting the UK market to begin with, looking at admission test takers for Oxford, Cambridge, and medical school exams. Expanding outwards, you can see 330,000 students in the UK alone every single year. But when you take a step back to the global stage, the numbers get even bigger. Valued at 18 billion euros last year and growing at a rate of 14% per year for 4 years, other competitors such as Kaplan have started to really take advantage of a market that allows us massive room for expansion. But how do we differentiate ourselves from these competitors? Chooter is focused on 2 metrics that students consistently tell us are the most important. The quality of resources, how good is this thing? Is it making me better? And the personalized plan. What can you do for me? How can you take me from where I am now to where I want to go? By starting small and focusing on quality of resources and personalization, we are able to produce a much higher quality of product. This is something we're going to keep with us as we expand. Our business model is pretty simple. We sell individual packages to individual students to help them prepare for a test. We're so confident in the quality that we're offering a refund guarantee for early adopters so that we can encourage people that they're in safe hands. The milestones we've achieved so far are that we have done our market research. We've worked out what the students want, and we've created our content. In the first quarter of 2019, we're onboarding alpha testers and then building through the exam schedules of medical students and Oxford and Cambridge students into the 3rd quarter of 2019. In 2021, we want to expand to the full UK market, and in order to do this, we're currently raising 250,000 euros of capital. This is going towards building a platform which is applicable to all tests across the world, and also on building our brand image through online marketing. We're starting a revolution for admissions testing. If you want to find out where we've been and where we're going, I urge you to come up and talk to me. Thanks.
the jury, please.
So I assume that the core of your product is the content and the high quality resources. Who produces the content and how does it get onto the platform, and how do you guarantee the quality?
So the first amount of content is actually produced by myself. Having been a tutor for 5 years, I know exactly what is helping students to improve. I've boosted the rates of success for schools across the country now. We have already onboarded medical school experts who are able to produce that content. And then after that, we're going out to the best tutors to scale past that point. I know what it takes to improve a student's performance. And more importantly, we are measuring the content and its success through the artificial intelligence platform so we can get constant feedback on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, I was going into the same direction. As you told, the quality of resources is the USP, so to say. And you said you know what the quality is, but like how measurable is this, and how can, for example, Kaplan not ensure that they do have high quality of resources too, on the one hand, and the second question would be, where's the AI in the whole thing?
Yeah, great question. So I'll start with your first point, which is talking about the quality of resources. Now, because we're starting small, we are able to simply outmatch Kaplan. Kaplan stretches themselves very thin, and all of the tutors in the market at the moment are of very variable quality. We're focusing very, very small, and we're using the system that we have already built, which we know helps students improve, and consistently using AI to actually improve that. So moving on to your second point, where the AI comes in 2 ways. The first way is that we're actually we're gathering students into groups, which is a very, very simple process, which is currently backed by the University of Sunderland. And what this allows us to do is look at the ways that some students improve compared to others. The best part of this is that we know then when a student steps in and they do well at maths, but they don't do so well at English, that we can give them these kinds of lessons, and we know that that's likely to see the biggest improvement. To begin with, the AI is going to be small, but we hope that it's going to give us a real advantage moving forward.
And now again to the quality of resources, because again, this is the most important thing. You said, like, you know what the good quality of resources is. Now, the business model of Chooter should be, it should be able to work without you. Because if something happens to you in a car accident or something, the investors shouldn't be the one who loses all, you know, like, the investors shouldn't be the one who loses all the money, because like, actually, are you the USP then? If
To begin with, the platform will run off the success that I've already had, but the examination of the tests that I've been able to carry out over 5 years means that I can basically put it into an algorithm format. There are 7 key metrics that we can use to evaluate questions and evaluate student performance, and this is something that then is very much scalable without me.
So, like, maybe also with the content, right? So the first you're going after the UK market because you know the market, you know, like Oxford, Cambridge, and all these guys. So I'm trying to understand, like, especially from a VC perspective, these kind of models need to be you need to be able to replicate them, right? So I'm trying to understand, how do you feel about how can you replicate this model in other countries, and do you go school by school, like test by test? And then maybe more broadly, what's the geo strategy behind that thought, right?
So in terms of going school to school, in the UK, that doesn't really work because students are spread very thinly. Luckily, though, there is a lot of market pull. There are people out there searching for resources every day, and forums are full of students looking for it. This gives us really easy choke points to kind of market to. When we expand to other countries, the plan is to go kind of school by school, because in those countries, for example, Israel and the US, every single school has enormous numbers of students who are taking these tests every year. So we'll kind of change our strategy depending on the country.
But then that means, like, for every school and every test, you need to create this, let's say a medical school or a medical test, you need to create this medical content, right? And right now you're doing this as an individual. So, like, how is it gonna look in the future, like when all operations are functioning, and how are you gonna, like, scale this?
Yeah. So the content for these tests obviously has already been created. The content for future tests, we currently have general assessments that we can use for any test, things like maths, English, comprehension, very easy to produce. But for the more specialist areas, then we're looking to outsource that then to tutors who are then going to get kind of a royalty or a commission on what is produced, but only the best tutors. And it allows us to really get the content from the best tutors out to the wider public.
Okay, thanks. Do we have time for?
One more question.
So I just want to understand, what's the big vision here for you?
The big vision is that we are able to take Tutor to countries such as the United States, Israel, globally, and we are able to produce a platform that can massively improve people's performances. We want to kind of level the playing field across all of these exams and really give people the way to showcase their own skills.
Cool, thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much.